right, I'm coming on tonight, you guys, to do a little pop-up show, and we're going to be making 5 cards in a box based on the You Are Amazing card kit or project kit that I actually had in a in-person class the other night on Wednesday. So I had an extra kit from a class that I'm shipping on Monday. So I thought I would come on and make all these cards here in this little box as well. So just give a second for people to come on board and see if we've got anybody out there. Hello, Carol. I see you're watching from Connecticut. Nice to have you on board. And hopefully you have no more snow at home. We do up here, but it should be melting somewhat tomorrow. All right, so I'm just gonna get started. We've got quite a few cards to make, all based on the You Are Amazing project kit. So what is that project kit? So it is in the mini catalog here, and let me just show you. It is on page 7 of the catalog. So what I did was I purchased this project kit for my in-person class, and along with the stamp set, and I already had the ink pads here. So we put this together on Wednesday as a group of 7 of us at a class that I teach locally, COVID style. Everybody had their masks on and we were socially distanced. Anyway, I took these cards here. Let's take a look at them right here. And you get 4 in the project kit. So everybody had one kit per card. So this is one of them. And then here's this one using Hip Hip Hooray, 3 cheers for you. Love this. This is really fun. And then here is our thanks. Again, some little circles under there and some of that linen thread wrapped around. And then You Are Amazing. So what I did was I took the Flower and Field Designer Series paper here, and I created a card, a class, which actually is expired, but I had an extra kit, so I wanted to show you guys what you can do with this paper. So I based it on this design here, so you can see that they are very, very different, but the layout is basically the same. All right, so that's this card here. And then the Hip Hip Hooray is somewhere under here. It's this one here. So again, I used the Stitch So Sweetly dies with some gold foil and some vellum. I actually put the linen thread bow down here, and we've got the opal rounds at the bottom. A very similar layout, but totally different look, if you ask me. All right, so that's that one. And then the next one was the Happy Birthday. Again, we've got some vellum going on the original kit here. So this is the original kit. I used Just Jade cardstock to match the Flower and Field coloring here. I've got my own Stitch So Sweetly die that is cut in vellum. And then we just used the opposite side of the paper to mimic the star design here. And then I used the, I can't remember the name of this punch on the top of my head, but the punch here, which kind of is this sentiment panel here. And then I've got the linen thread as an embellishment here, whereas up here it's just wrapped around the tag. All right, so that's that design. And this was, let's see, this one here. So this one, again, it's got multiple layers on it. So we've got Petal Pink as the card base here. And then I've got 2 pieces of that Designer Series paper. A Stitch So Sweetly rectangle. I've got a banner. We've got some more Stitch So Sweetly and our stamped image along with the linen thread. So on this one here, the project is very similar. Okay, so I love how we can coordinate our project kits into a class. All right, so if you did miss out on my class, this class in particular, make sure you are on my email list. That way you receive information from me. I do not spam. I maybe email like no more than 2 to 3 times a week. 3 times is like way too much for me. But at least I would say 1 to 2 times on average is what I email out. Make sure you do go on to my blog and sign up for my newsletter and my email so you don't miss out on my card club or any kits that I have to offer. All right, so and then this is a special card that I offered with the kit class, the Flower and Fields, a nice little medium daisy right there with a banner over top with that linen thread and the opal rounds and on the all on the granny apple green, okay, and there's the stars on the inside. And then here's a little box. People received a kit for 2 of these, and we used Pool Party for the daisy there to mimic a little bit of the daisy on the designer series paper there. I used the Pool Party sheared ribbon on the top to kind of connect this and secure it in place, and we wrapped around some linen thread as well. I'm using the Delightful Tag Topper Punch. For me, this is a brand new punch in my craft room, so I really like it. I always have been using the Scallop Tag Topper, but I wanted to try something new, so I did purchase this back in January. So, all right, we are going to get rearranged here, and we are going to start making some of these cards. So just give me a second here to get reorganized. I hope you guys are doing well. And don't forget, celebration ends Sunday tomorrow on February 28th. So if you have not taken advantage of celebration, you really should. Free paper, free stamp sets, you name it. So it's a great opportunity to also join my team. I've had 8 people sign up with me during celebration. They made the commitment to purchase a starter kit. They're all hobbyists, which I love. We just have a great time. And speaking of that, I'm going to show you my map. I'm a visual person. So here's our Inspired Daisies team here. As you can see, I don't have anybody here in the Midwest, but I've got a couple people out west. A lot of the majority's on the East Coast, which is where I live, in this little small state that's green, and it's called Vermont. And then I have one lady down here in Texas. So, and she is doing much better with the ice storm now that that's all over. So keep her in our prayers so that she is doing better. And then lots of other people over here on the East Coast. Again, I'm in that little green state, and it's called Vermont, and it's the Green Mountain State. All right, so we are going to get started. So my thank you gift for February ends tomorrow. And what it is if you purchase in products $35 or above, and between that dollar amount, you use this host code, I'll send you a free package of these Resin Heart Embellishments. They are in the mini catalog. They're super cute. They were on back order and for a while, so I did get some, and I will be ordering these and sending them to as a thank you gift in the month of March for any of the February orders that do qualify. So I'll put this over on the side, so in case you are going to shop, you can shop with that code. All right, so the You Are Amazing stamp set looks like this. We're using every single stamp in this set except for this big blob here. I really, honestly, for me, don't care for that. I'm more of a sentiment person. And we didn't even use it in my class. So it's this big thing here. I don't know. I don't like that. So we won't be doing that. So let me just look here. I still got Carol on board, and it looks like that's, let's see. Just want to make sure. Okay. So we lived in Vermont for a little while some years ago. Yeah, I've lived here all my life, Carol. All right, have not lived anywhere else. All right, for celebration ends tomorrow. The paper we're going to be using tonight is the Flower and Field Designer Series paper. It can be found on page 10 of celebration. And don't forget, this baby expires tomorrow, okay? So you got to take advantage of free product. And then here's my Welcome Daisies, Inspired Daisies team card. This is the one I designed with the flower and field paper with these 3 little daisies here that kind of resemble the one that's on the Designer Series paper. All right, so that's all my commercial break, and we're gonna get started creating these cards. So the first one here, it uses the Cherry Cobbler ink. And I'm gonna bring my light over a little bit closer. It looks like I'm getting a little bit of a shadow. So I'm gonna try to brighten it up a little bit. My laptop is a good 20 seconds behind, which I do not like. So I can't see it like real live, but I'll do my best to create this card for you guys. All right, so we got lots of little pieces here. All right, so I like to stamp first. So we've got our basic white envelope, and I've got a couple banners already kind of cut out. If I really mess up, then I've got some extra here to stamp and punch, okay? And you know what? Maybe that's what let me think. Now I'm just gonna stamp. All right, so I've got the Cherry Cobbler ink. This is a really deep, I kind of use this at Christmas time. But it works well with the Designer Series paper because it is the red flower here that's in the design. So that is Cherry Cobbler. So we're just going to keep that the same. I'm gonna move those resin hearts just up a little bit. Okay, so we're making a thanks card. Okay, so this one, you gotta make sure that your ink pad is pretty juicy because it's kind of a solid stamp. So if you wanna practice on it ahead of time, what I would do is, let me just grab some scrap paper here. So those solid stamps sometimes may give you a little bit of trouble, especially if you're a beginner stamper. All right, so of course this is just a copier paper. It's not gonna come out that way. Hopefully it won't. But just practice until you get a good image. All right, so I'm gonna bring in that basic white and I'm just gonna ink it up and we'll just stamp it right across that white banner. And there you go. Okay, so then on the inside of the card, we are going to stamp right on the bumblebee pattern or cardstock. And I've got some stars here. And what I like to do is when I create a card set, I try to keep them the same design. So I'm just gonna stamp, you know, a few down in the lower right corner and one up there. And then what you also can do with your stamp, the thanks stamp is, we're gonna ink it up, and then you can also just stamp it right on the lower corner, just like that. So that looks super cool as well. All right, so we have everything all together and we're just going to assemble the card. And I just noticed, of course, I don't have the Cherry Cobbler cardstock cut. I must have used it, for something else. So let me just grab some Cherry Cobbler cardstock because this card is actually my favorite out of all 5 of them. So this is cut 3 3/4 by 5, and that should be good. All right, so let's try this again. All right, so 3 3/4 by 5, and then it's just 1/8 of an inch smaller, okay? So we're going to add some glue to the back side of the Designer Series paper here. Okay, it's just gonna go right on top of there. And this is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8, just a little bit bigger. All right, so then the next thing I wanna do is we're gonna have to wrap around that linen thread. So for me, I like to use my silicone craft sheet, and we're gonna need some dimensionals. And those are gone. Let's see, right here. They're hiding way up over on my other side of the desk there. So what I like to do is I like to add the dimensionals on here, and you'll need 5. And I like to put one in the middle so it doesn't, the panel doesn't buckle. And then I'm just going to press those with my thumbnail here and just peel them off real quick. You can also use your take your pick tool to take these little pieces off as well. I'll do that one probably on the next card so you can see how that tool's used. Okay, so we've got this all prepped and ready to go. And you'll need your linen thread. So I love the linen thread. It's a staple in my craft room for sure. And so what I did was we're going to wrap this around a couple times. So I like to go all the way over for a good 6 inches. And the silicone craft sheet just protects your work surface. So this doesn't get stuck on my desk here. So I've wrapped it around and I came all the way over to the right side. I'm going to take my ribbon scissors just to trim this off. And then I'm going to take this one on the right side, wrap it all the way underneath. And then we're going to tie a little knot here. I'm just using my middle finger there just to keep it secure. And then we're going to tie a bow. So we're just gonna wrap this around and hopefully tie a bow. Try that again. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. Oh, Lee's on here. I'm sorry, I just kind of looked at the, Lee, this is gonna ship to you on Monday. I got it all ready to go. So get ready for some happy mail coming your way. You'll have Card Club, which was shipped yesterday, and this one is being shipped on Monday. So you'll get a sneak peek, and I didn't offer a video with that one, so you've got this one as well, so you can watch me make these cards. Okay, so I just noticed that we need to, so what I like to do is get that kind of ribbon in place, and then we can sneak these little 2 underneath. So this is just a Granny Apple Green, 2-inch circle punched. Okay, and then we're going to layer it with some Bumblebee cardstock, and this is 1.5 inch circle. And we're just going to layer this right down like this. And then the tricky part is kind of getting this little banner where you want it to go. Okay, so we're going to slide this over just a little bit if we can, just so that's over here more on the left side. I'm going to bring in the card base. This is Bumblebee. It's an A2 size card, so it's our standard US card, which is 5.5 by 8.5. I've already pre-scored it at 4 1/4. And we're just going to layer this right down over top and get it centered, and then just give it a good press. All right. So we're going to just split this up a little bit. So it's kind of being a little stubborn, so I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool just to spread that out a little bit, because I want this in place before I put down that banner. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Let me get rid of the silicone craft sheet. We're done with that for right now. And now to get this sentiment banner kind of up and secure, since this linen thread is not the same height as the paper, we're going to add a few dimensionals on this one. And if I can find my dimensionals, I just had them, and oh, there they are. I need to get a little bit organized, a little bit more organized. So for this, I'm going to kind of go up and down with the dimensionals. It does need to have, I'm noticing like 4. And the reason why is because this one here only has 3 dimensionals underneath it, and you can see it's kind of flimsy. So when I'm done and off camera, I'll slide in 2 more, but I just wanted to show you this. So we're just going to add 4 there, what you can do in the middle is just add one right there, okay? So now I'm going to show you how to use the take your pick tool to get these little babies off. So basically you're just going to stab it right in the middle there, and then it pops off super easy, okay? So just another way to use your tool. And again, this pointy end is like super sharp. You don't want to, you know, like poke yourself with it, because then that would be a hot mess probably. So, all right, we're going to add this one here, and what I'm looking for is I just want a little bit of this yellow coming through here, and then I'm just going to give it a good press. I do need to re-ink my cherry cobbler. I can tell this is just not a good stamped thanks banner, but you kind of get the idea. So now, if you can see on this card here, I added the opal rounds, which was part of this kit class. So we're going to do that next, and see here, this is just a little really flimsy, but I love that the cherry cobbler ink pad is like fully juiced. So I'm going to add the opal rounds to this. Now you can see I've already used half of my pack here, but I'm going to add 5 of these, and they come in various sizes. I think there's 2 sizes, although I can't honestly remember, but I've got half the pack here, so I'm going to add 5. So that's 2, 3, and then 4. Let's add one down here, and then let's add one right there. So that's 5. So remember, odd numbers are more pleasing to the eye than even numbers. All right, so here's our card that we just made here. You could trim these tails down if you want. They're kind of like, I think they're a good fit, but if they were too long, just use your ribbon scissors. All right, so that's card number 1 we made together. This was my example. And you know what, while I have you guys watching me, I'm gonna show you how I would fix this, okay? So what I would do is I would take one of these dimensionals. I would actually take the backing off first, so there's no backing on either side. And then I would just slide this underneath here as far as you can get it up there. And now that is much better. I just needed one dimensional under there, so it stays put now. And of course it's a little crooked, but oh well, that's how it goes. All right, so that is this one here, and let me show you the inspiration card is, I'm not even sure what I did with those cards now. Oh, way over here. Okay, so this was the inspiration card to create this one. I used this. This is the You Are Amazing project kit. So this is the one we made tonight. So based on this card here. So if you struggle with card design, you could take one of the project kits that you can purchase, and then just use some of your own supplies to kind of do the same thing as this card design. So that looks awesome. I love how Stampin' Up! Just created this one, and I kind of put this one together based on what I have for supplies. So just a little bit of information there. If you're struggling with card design, just take a kit and go make it your own. All right, so that's that one. And our next card here is going to be using Night of Navy ink. Let me get a change, close up that cherry cobbler because we don't want a hot mess here. Okay, so we've got Night of Navy, and that card is the Hip Hip Hooray 3 Cheers for You. Okay. All right, so that's our next card. Let me get our kit here. It's got a lot of different, banners in it and die cuts. All right, so let's get our Night of Navy ink pad all ready to go. And I just bought a new one, you guys, so I don't know, I was using the old style until I just invested in a new one, so I'm excited I got the Night of Navy. All right, so if you can see, the Stitch So Sweetly dies are layered on top of each other. I've got a banner under here, which has been punched out with the duet banner punch, I think it's called. And then there's some gold foil underneath there. So we'll need our envelope. We've got this die cut here. We need our base and our envelope for stamping. So we're just gonna do the same thing as we did before. I need to clean those stars because we've got cherry cobbler ink on it and we don't want to contaminate our ink pad. All right, so this one here is a big, kind of a big stamp, and I've got it mounted on a D block. So hip hip hooray, 3 cheers for you. Again, you're gonna want that ink pad well juicy. And I'm stamping on the smooth side, so don't forget on this, when you die cut, you're gonna have a rough side, which is the wrong side. So just make sure that you're gonna stamp on the smooth side. I'm stamping more towards the top. And this is a really kind of solid stamp, especially the hip hip and 3 cheers. So you want to make sure that you stamp down and hold that block in place for just a couple extra seconds. All right, so that is pretty good. You can see. And then we're going to let that dry. We're going to add the stars here. Again, I'm just kind of doing 3. And then this card here is going to be opening up this way. So again, we're going to just stamp up in the corner there, and then we'll stamp down here, kind of like 3 times. I'm just kind of angling my stamp. Oops, that one didn't look so great. Oh well, that's fine. It's handmade. All right, so that's it for stamping, and now we just got to assemble it, okay? So I always like to work with a DSP and from bottom and going up. So this is again, the Flower and Field Designer Series paper. I've got it cut 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm just gonna take the liquid glue and add it just along the edges there and in the middle, just a little bit. Then before I set this down, I'm just gonna give it a look over to see if I like the flowers going that way or this way. And I don't think it really matters, so we're just gonna put it down like this. And it's got equal border on the top, bottom, left, and right. Okay, and then the next piece up is that gold foil, and I've already got this cut. It is 3/4 of an inch across and 5 1/4 down, and it's going to go edge to edge with that Designer Series paper. Just going to add that gold foil. I'm going to add it way over, about almost 2 inches over from the left, and it's going to be, it's lined up with the top and the bottom of that Designer Series paper. Then the next piece is that vellum banner, and I know it's going to be hard to see, but what you need to be careful about is that you don't add the adhesive where you can see the vellum, because if you do, you're going to see through it. So what I like to do is I just like to add a little bit of liquid glue right there. That's plenty. And then we're just going to put it right down over top of that foil. And I'm making sure that this V here from the punch is in the center of that gold foil. So I'm just going to rub that liquid glue underneath. You can kind of see it now. There's a big blob of it. It will dry. And then I've got it right in the center of that gold foil. So that's that. And then we're going to match up our sentiment with the shaded spruce Stitch So Sweetly die. I use the Stitch So Sweetly dies quite a bit, just because they really work nicely together. It's another one of my dies in my craft room that I do use a lot. So I just added those 2 together just like this, and then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to add 5 dimensionals. So 2 at the top, 1 in the middle, and 2 at the bottom. Okay, and again, We're just gonna give that a press, and we'll use the take your pick tool. Just stabbing those little backings of the dimensional come right off, and they're all in my hand, and then they're all going in the garbage very quick. All right, so then we're gonna take this panel and I'm centering it right over top of the vellum and the gold foil and give it a good press, just like that. And then we're gonna add 3 of those opal rounds, a large one and 2 smaller ones in this space here. So we'll just use that take your pick tool again. And since these are larger, I'll use the sharper end. This actually has a little spatula. You could use that one too, so let's give that one a try. So I'm just gonna go underneath that opal. Hopefully I can. Oh well, there we go. I've got it on top of that little spatula. And then I'm just gonna add it to this card. Now it's a little bit harder to use the spatula with the opals, but I just wanted to show that it does have a different tip because everyone uses the little sharp pointy piece here, but it does have 2 sides to it, and it just gets stored in the barrel there, and there's a lock here, so it's unlocked or locked, so we want to make sure it's locked so it stays in there. And then on this side is the putty side. You've seen me use that as well. All right, so now I just need 2 more of those opals, and we're gonna put a smaller one on the right side and another one on the left side. All right, so that's good. Now we've got to be consistent because in our first card we used the linen thread, so this one needs linen thread as well. And thankfully I've got them made ahead of time. And then, so I've got them doubled up on a glue dot. So I'm just gonna pinch that glue dot together, and then we'll bring it right over here. We're gonna add it right to the pointy place of that vellum right there in between. And then if you need to, you could trim those tails down just a little bit. This one just a little bit longer than the other side, so I'm just gonna use my ribbon scissors to give it a little haircut. All right, so that is card number 2. So let's bring those in here. This one was actually fairly easy and quick and easy actually. So here's these 2. And then the card inspiration, again, is right here. So let me just put this one in the middle. And then you can kind of see kind of the inspiration where I took this card and made it my own. So that is card number 2 for you guys. And let me just check the comments real quick to see if there's anything. Anybody's asking any questions? Cold state of Maine. Lori, yeah, exactly. Well, wait for Tuesday, because Tuesday it's only going to be, I say 20, like the high of 20 here. That feels a little warm, probably warmer than probably what you're experiencing right now. I think it's only going to be like 30 tonight, which is great, and tomorrow's going to be mid-40s. All right, so let's see. Oh, Colleen's from Las Vegas. Oh, what is living in? Hey, I was in Las Vegas 12 times in my life with a company I used to work for, a ski company. We always had trade shows in Las Vegas, and I've gone 12 times to help set up a trade show booth. Used to be at the Las Vegas Hilton. I don't even know if Las Vegas Hilton is still there or not. Maybe Lori can let us, or Wolfam can let us know. Colleen, yes. Is the Hilton still there? All right, so here we go. That's card number 2. And then card number 3 is going to be the happy birthday. Actually, let me switch it up because my ink pads, my kits are all over here, and this is the next one that's in line. So What I love about this one is that we can use the medium daisy punch, which is in my craft room, and I hope it's in your craft room. If it's not, you should think about ordering it. This really looks nice with the Flower and Fields Designer Series paper. Also, it's just, you can multi-layer it too. So we've got two little punched out shapes here. So we're gonna show you how this one goes together. And I love, my new favorite color is Granny Apple Green. I think it's just because I've been using it a lot more. But I do like it. And it's in this paper as well. So that's kind of nice how everything kind of just goes with the flow. All right, so we've got our Granny Apple Green ink. Get that ready to go. I've already cleaned the star stamp. All right, so for our stamping, let's see, I've got some white scrap here because I'm going to use a classic label punch. Because I'm not quite sure I could actually stamp on this and do a really good job. So we're going to punch that out. So the three things we need here. Let's stamp the congrats. Okay, and that's just going to get stamped right here. All right, so that's done. What I'm going to also do is I'm going to stamp the envelope with congrats as well. So we're just going to stamp that right down in the lower bottom, two like that. And let's stamp one this way and do a little bit something different, okay? So there's three, so 1, 2, 3, that's an odd number, so that's a little bit more pleasing to the eye. And then the stars are gonna get stamped in the lower corner here, so twice. And then one up here, just to be consistent with the other two cards that we just made. Okay, so that is that. I guess what you could do with this envelope, if you wanted to, you could angle the stamp, because it's kind of like a triangle, and you could kind of stamp it. We're going to try it. I never tried this before, so we're just going to give it a shot. Yeah, so there you go. So you could add the stars there. You could actually add them on the ends too. So let me just give that a try. I like experimenting on camera, so we're gonna try it and see if it's gonna be just way too much or not. So I'm gonna stamp a little bit off to the edge, and then let's stamp over here. I don't know. I think I really prefer it just with one set of stars. Don't you guys? That's like way too much if you ask me. Maybe if we just like, let's finish it off and go way to the edge and see if that does anything. I think it looks a little crazy, but oh well. Again, it's handmade. All right, so we're gonna assemble the card. And we've got lots of pieces here. So let me just get these off to the side. I don't want to lose this little 1/2-inch circle punch. All right, so here's that beautiful paper, Flower and Fields, and this is the back side. This one would look actually super cool as well. And why don't we do that? Let's try this card a little bit differently, and then we can add the daisy to this one. So I'm always about experimenting. So we're going to give this one a try. Even though this is like one of my favorite patterns out of this whole pack, we're just going to cover it up this time. And then we're going to add this. This was 2 by 5.5, and I'm adding it to some basic black cardstock, which is cut 2 1/4 by 5.5. And this one is your basic A2 card, and it's 8.5 by 5.5. and scored at 4 1/4. And I'm going to add this right to the card front. And it's going to go edge to edge, kind of in the middle. I'm just eyeballing this. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And then we're gonna build up this little daisy. So I'm gonna grab my silicone craft sheet because I like to protect my work surface. And I've got 2 little medium daisies punched out. I'll add a little bit of this Tombow glue to the middle. And then we're gonna take this one and we're gonna fill in the gaps. And I'll press it right in the middle. And when you're using the liquid glue, you have just a few seconds to move it around. So it's looking pretty good. Now I've got a 1/2 inch circle punch. Now we don't sell a 1/2 inch circle punch, but I think every craft room needs one. So I've kept my Stampin' Up! One. So I use it quite often when I make these little daisies. All right, so that's looking super good. And now I'm going to look at this card one more time here, and you can see that it's got some dimension on it so it doesn't get lost in the pretty paper there. So we're gonna add a dimensional to the back side of this one here. Okay, so we'll flip it over and we'll just peel one of these off and press it hard so it stays put. And then I'm just gonna use the take your pick tool to take that little piece off, and it goes in the garbage. All right, so now let's look at this. And we're gonna add this one right here. Actually, hold on. I gotta think about it. I gotta space it. Actually, I'm gonna actually add it right to the middle. Just because this one here has all that pretty paper, lots of flowers, and I thought it looked better this way. Whereas this one just has the foliage, so we're just gonna add it in the middle. The congrats we need to punch out with that classic label punch. And I've got to find it right here. So here's a classic label punch. You guys know, if you follow me, you see me using this punch quite a bit as well. So it fits perfectly with the congrats stamp. Okay, so now we're gonna add this right over that daisy, or what you could do is kind of tuck it in, okay, and put it that way too. And you could take this little linen thread here, and we could put that right on the center of that daisy. So I don't know, let's see. I've already got my bow created, so I'm gonna figure it out. I'm not gonna put it on entirely, so we're just going to play with this a little bit. So if I put that there, and then I can just kind of tuck this one underneath here. I don't know, it looks like a mustache. I don't know, what do you guys think? Hold on, I gotta wait for like 20 seconds so I can see comments because my laptop is always delayed. So I gotta see what you guys think. Okay, I see the last comment is from Lee. I like it, but I'm not sure if it's this one or the card before. So somebody has to comment. Oh, hey, Carol Schaefer, I totally agree about bringing some of these punches back, because I'm a punch person and I love punches because it makes my life so much easier, and it makes card making and 3D projects and craft fair projects so much quicker. And I did comment on the Demonstrator Facebook page. They asked about what products do you use in your craft room the most, and one of them, and that's retired basically, and I said 1/2 inch circle punch. Okay, so try bow under congrats. Oh, okay, let's see. So we could do it there. Okay. Kind of like right, actually, hold on. I'm all thumbs here. Okay, if we put it right there on the edge, and then we add this congrats back, kind of like right in there. Okay, try bow under congrats. Okay. I think we'll go with something like this because I'm gonna add something to that daisy to make it shine even more. So I think I'm gonna go just like this. So let's get this one secured in place. I'll flip it around and I'm just gonna add some of this liquid glue to the back side of this banner. Oops, oh my goodness, hold on. I've used so much hand sanitizer this past week, and because of the COVID, that I've got, like, my hands are so dried and cracked and it's awful. And plus it doesn't help with living where I live. So I'm just using this back of the Take Your Pick tool to keep that in place. Now I'm gonna take this linen thread bow, double bow, and I'm gonna put it right in the center. The congrats, press it down with that glue dot, and there you go. I think that looks awesome. So we still need to add our opal rounds to be consistent. So I'm gonna add, let's see. I'm trying to think if I wanna just add 3. Now I'm gonna use actually the smaller ones. Let's just use all small, and we're just gonna put, add them to the black area to fill in the little areas there. And we're just gonna add 3 to this one. Now, you can also take some Winka Stella, and then we're going to add some of that Winka Stella right to the center of this. This is a So Saffron punched, half-inch punch circle. Okay, and what's happening with the Winka Stella, it's darkening the So Saffron, make it a little bit darker. Now, if I went and brushed some of this on the petals, you could have some of the So Saffron color in the tip of this marker. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you just use some scrap paper here and just kind of brush off just to make sure there's no yellow in that. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the brush and I'm just gonna brush stroke the petals. And the Winka Stella is like a glitter pen. It's got alcohol in it and lots of glitter and some glue. And I'm just kind of brush stroking it on. And then I know you probably can't see this on camera, but it is like really sparkly in the center here. And I've just kind of lightly stroked it onto the white petals there, and it looks fabulous. Okay, and then another thing you could do with Winka Stella, and I showed this on my Facebook Live the other night, last Friday, if anybody guys watched me there, we're gonna tap, I'm gonna use the Take Your Pick tool, I'm gonna tap the Winka Stella pen, and what's happening, I don't know if you can see it, but it's splattering the Winka Stella all over the cardstock and the designer series paper to give it even more of a sparkly effect. So you can see right here, hopefully, it's a little bit darker, but you just keep doing this as long as you want to tap to give more sparkle. So let me just put the cap on the Winka Stella. I store mine in a little like carousel off to the side, and I store it straight up and down, okay? So here is the card that I just added a ton of the glitter Winka Stella on there. No idea if you can see it or not. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it, but there's lots of sparkle throughout the whole card front, and it just looks really, really nice. Okay, and then with the opal rounds, it's kind of like they have this glitter in them as well, so kind of everything kind of goes with this card here. So Winka Stella and the opal rounds look great. All right, so that is that one. And this was just an add-on card to my class, and here they are side by side. So you guys can vote one or two or both. So I'll let you guys look at those for just a second. I'm gonna reorganize my area here so I don't make any messes. So again, one or two or both. Both, I love them both, me too. All right, I don't know, they look really nice. So let me show you, here's another one that I made. This one resembles the paper, the daisies right here on the paper itself. So what I did was I did the same setup as this card here, okay, and I added the Wink of Stella, of course. I don't know if you can see it, but I did sponge daub the daisies in the middle with Pool Party ink, which is the color that's on these daisies as well. And then I just layer them up. There's 3 sets of daisies here, kind of built all the same way. So this is my team card that I new people signing up with me received this card as a welcome card. So sent with love. Anyway, so those are the 2 cards. Just wanted to give you another option. Okay, so I really like the simplicity of this one. I'm just kind of looking at it. I really like it. Okay, so that's 3. And then the next one we're going to do, we're going to make this card here. It's the happy birthday. And then my inspiration card, some of you guys came on a little bit later. This was my inspiration card with the You Are Amazing project kit. So it's kind of built the same way, but using different products, of course. Again, the Stitch So Sweetly dies. I'm going to get the name of that punch because it's bothering me. Lovely, okay, so it's the Lovely Label Punch, or Label Me Lovely Punch is this one here. All right, so let's get, okay, with this one and the card kit, we used Mango Melody the other night on Wednesday night. Here we're going to use So Saffron ink. Okay, because So Saffron is the yellow that's in those little daisies there. Okay, so we've got our ink and we've got our kit. Okay, so we've got our envelope and we've got our label and we need our Just Jade. Okay, I've got to clean the stars, so let me just do that real quick. Okay, so we've got, this is Just Jade and it's 8.5 by your 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 card base. We're gonna stamp that with the So Saffron ink. Again, another new ink pad in my craft room. I've been using the old style forever. So definitely investing in some new ink pads. We're gonna stamp this 3 times, just like that. And then we'll stamp again in the corners, 2 and 3. Got a little triangle going on there. I don't like that, so we're just gonna add another one. There we go, that looks better. And then we need to stamp this one here, and I want this, the curved edge at the top. This is a really fun font, Happy Birthday. Again, make sure it's inked up really nicely. I'm gonna bring it a little bit closer to me so I can see. Oh, you know, I'm so particular. Like, that is a little bit crooked, so guess what? I'm gonna go grab some, I'm gonna grab some basic white, and I'm gonna use that punch tonight. Okay, we're gonna try that one again. Okay, so I'm just gonna ink this up over here. Stamp, there we go. And let's get the Label Me Lovely. And we're gonna punch this out so it's looking a little bit better. There we go. That's better. That makes me feel so much better. Okay. I think we've got everything we need inked up. We just need to assemble. Okay, so we've got our Flower and Field Designer Series paper. And I always kind of look at it, especially if there's patterns that could be upside down or whatever. I like to, before I put it on, just to make sure what direction I like it and maybe where those yellow flowers are sitting. So I kind of like it going this way. So I'm going to flip that over. And I'm going to add the glue. This piece is cut 4 by 5 1/4. And then it's going to get layered right on the Just Jade. Equal distance all the way around. So it's on the top, bottom, left, and right. And then we're going to add that vellum. Okay, and this has been die cut with a stitch so sweetly, so be careful when you're adding them onto your card that you've got the smooth side coming up, all right? And then again, you don't want to add adhesive where you see the vellum because you'll be able to see it through. So what I like to do is, again, you don't need very much. You can just, that's just enough. And then we're just going to add this right to the front, and I'm pressing it right down in the middle there. You can kind of see where that glue was, and it's going to get covered up so you don't really have to worry about it. Then I've got another piece of that same pattern paper, and this one is cut, I think it's 2 1/4, yep, 2 1/2 by 3 1/4. So it's just a little bit bigger than the Stitch So Sweetly die. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to add glue to the flowered side. And then this is going to get right on the front centered. Okay, and then this one here is going to be popped up with the dimensionals. So we will grab, I think you can get away with, let's try 2, and if it does buckle, we can slide some underneath there. Okay, so this is going to get centered right down on the top of that panel right there. Give it a good press. And then my last bow that I've already got kind of pre-done, I'm just going to pinch that glue dot, get it underneath that knot. And then we're going to add this one right here. Okay. I think that's good. I don't think you need to add any more dimensionals than that because it's pretty sturdy on just having one at the bottom and on the top. All right, so then our final step with this one is to add the opal rounds. Again, we'll just use the take your pick tool. I'm going to use the bigger size. And what I'm doing is I'm going to find, let me show you the original card here. So the paper's not always cut the same, so you're going to have to pick and choose where you're going to add them. So it looks like I added 3 on this card. We're going to add 1 up here. And it's just going to be slightly underneath the vellum, but that's all right. And then let's add 1 over here. And I'm using the larger one, so I'm going to take that vellum and pull it up a little bit and then slide one of these in. So it's just under there. You can kind of see it coming through. And then I think let's add 1 down here. I'm going to use a smaller one, and I'm going to add it to this little, oh, I don't know. I think those little pink flowers are a little bit too small. So let's just add 1 right over here. And then if you really wanted to add 2 more, because it's either 3 or 5 with me, I'm going to add 1 over here on that black paneled. And let's add a larger one. Let's just add 2 of them together. All right, so that one's easy card too, you guys. You don't need to have many, you know, a punch, and you don't even really need the Stitch So Sweetly. You can cut that vellum with just your trimmer. and make a rectangle out of it. So here's those two side by side. You can tell that I've re-inked my ink pad for sure. And then I was looking for the inspiration card, but I'm not sure. Right here. And here is the inspiration card from the You Are Amazing kit, project kit. All right. So this one again uses the Mango Melody. That's why it looks a little bit more orangey than the So Saffron. So, so if you're looking for inspiration, grab a kit, project kit, and go and make it your own. Okay. So here is card, I think that's number 4 or 5. I can't remember actually. That was 4 because we've got, this is card number 5, and then we'll make the project of the little box. All right, so this one's got a ton going on. I really wasn't sure about this card design just because it's so like busy, but this got multiple layers on it using the Stitch So Sweetly dies and a nice little banner here in shaded spruce. So we need shaded spruce. I've got to close some of these ink pads here. I've got too many open, and I'm going to make a, hey Joni, I'm doing this class again. I had an extra kit, so I came on a pop-up YouTube live tonight. So yeah, I know I was going to be live on our Facebook page, but I actually changed it up a little bit because I've already done this class on my live there, and I figured, oh, I haven't done it on YouTube, so I come over here as well. So, and I'll be live with you tomorrow night at our team crafting night at 6 o'clock. So I'm looking forward to stamping with you. Okay, so this card here is really designed the same way. It uses a lot of that really deep shaded spruce. I use shaded spruce usually at Christmas cards, but it is in this designer series paper here, the foliage there. So that's why I'm using it with this card. And let's see, we need this one, we need this, and we need the petal pink. Okay, so I've got my stars, which I actually need to clean because they've got ink on them. So let's use this Stampin' Scrub and clean them off. How many of you guys use this Stampin' Scrub? I've had mine since I've been a demonstrator, like 9 years. Just had my anniversary on February 24th, Wednesday. And I've had the Stampin' Scrub. I actually have 4 of them because it's so much easier to have multiple ones for in-person classes. So I love it. All right, so that's our Stitch So Sweetly die. And we are going to be stamping You Are Amazing, because you guys are. All right, so we've got this one. It's a really dark green. It's kind of tamed down a little bit once you get it stamped. So that's that one. And then we're going to use that same green, and we're going to be consistent, and we're going to stamp some stars down here and then up here as well. And then, hey, let's add You Are Amazing on the envelope. We'll just stamp You Are Amazing right down there. And then let's add the stars right over top of it. Well, that's like super fun, right? All right, so all of our stamping is complete. We're going to close up the shaded spruce, and we are going to assemble the card here. So again, I've got the petal pink, and it's 8.5 by 5.5, pre-scored at 4 1/4, just like always. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add these two together, and of course I've left a little bit of space here. I forgot to mention that for the linen thread, the bow. So let's just add some of this glue here. Don't need a lot when you're using liquid glue. And then we're just going to center this, just like this one. And then we need this banner. And this was cut 5.5 by 1, and I punched it down with the triple banner punch. This is going to get put right here, But what you don't want to do is you don't want to put adhesive up here or down here because this extends over that banner. So the best thing to do is just take your glue and just run it right down the middle in between the round parts of the die and call it good. This is like super strong glue, so you don't really need to worry about it coming off because it's not going to. Okay, so there we go, centered on that banner. And then let's add the paper. Now you could make this one like this, and then you could add this here and go like this if you really wanted to, just to see a reverse of this card. I think this is like way too bold for me, and I kind of just like it as the base of the panel system here. So I'm gonna go this way, my original card design, but you can do whatever you want. Use whatever paper, 4 by 5 1/4. It's very standard size. So I'm just gonna add this right here on top of the petal pink cardstock base, an equal distance all the way around, of course. And then here's the piece here we're gonna add. It's a Stitch So Sweetly die cut. And then this one goes right here. And then this piece here needs some dimension because what you don't want, it's lost if you don't. So if you add it flush down, well, it's not really kind of just lost in all those layers. So we're gonna just flip this over here and we're gonna add some dimensionals. I'm gonna add probably, this is quite a large piece here. Let's add 5 just to be safe. And then we'll use, let me press, make sure they're down really nice. Okay, so I just want to look at some, okay. Oh, Carol, I just saw a question. What label punch do you use the most? Well, if it's a smaller shape like that, congrats, then I would use a classic label punch. But if it's kind of like this size, probably, I do like the Label Me Lovely punch, which we used on this card here, just because it's got character on it with the scalp kind of edges here, and then it is straight here, but you can do so much with this label. You can take it and spin it this way and do your sentiment the opposite way. You can also take some cardstock, punch it out, and then cut it in half to separate it and make like a little border with cardstock too. So I think that one is a really good punch to have in your craft room as well. All right, so hopefully that answered your question. All right, so now this one here is going to go right over there, but first I'm gonna take a look at it because I wanna make sure that there's equal distance on the top here and the bottom, and that the banner is extending over where I want it to. So I think it's just off just a little bit, so I'm gonna tug on it and just move it like 1/8 of an inch and call it good. So got that one pressed down, and guess what? I don't think, yeah, we need to make a bow because I don't have one, I guess. So I'm gonna show you how I make my bows, you guys. It's not a commercial for the 10-second bow maker, but I've had this in my craft room forever. I've got some linen thread here. Meg Davies, she's a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. She's the one that sells these. I think they're like $10, so I've used it forever. So what I did was my linen thread, sorry, let me backtrack. This is probably like 12 inches long, and then I'm gonna fold it in half, just like this, match up the ends. Okay, so it's now doubled. I'm gonna bring it around here, and then the right is going over the left side, and the left side is coming over the top, underneath. I'm pinching it in the middle, transferring my fingers to the tails, and then I'm just gonna tie a knot. Just like that. And that's how I make my bows. We're gonna slide it right off the dowels. Looks like that. This here, let me just, since I'm done with it, the little dowels go in the holes here on the end. They slide right in here, and it gets stored over on the side of my, actually with all my ribbons. And I got like that it has these nice little felt pads on the bottom. So 10secondbowmaker.com is where you can find these, and they're $10, I think, something like that. Okay, so now this here is not cut yet, so I don't usually cut the tails until I get them on the card. So let's bring in the card here, and I've got my glue dots. I'm gonna just bring this right around and add this to one of the glue dots, give it a good press, and then just pinch it in the middle so that glue dot goes underneath the knot. And then we're going to add this. It's like stringy, hold on. I think I gotta trim some pieces down there. Yep. All right, so now this is gonna go here, push it down, and then I'm gonna just yank on the tails just a little bit so they're kind of going down that way. I'm gonna use my ribbons scissors just to trim it down, just like that. And now they're equal. Okay, now the last thing we need to do is add some of those opal rounds. So I'm gonna look at the pattern paper first, just to kind of get an idea what size I need. So I'm gonna use a large one here down in this card, this little flower here. And then I'm gonna grab a smaller one and wanna put one way up here. And then I think I'm gonna add another little small one. I think I'm only gonna add 3 to this card. And let's add one right here to the cluster of those little buds and those flowers there. All right, so that is card number 5. So here is our fancy envelope. I like how that envelope turned out. And then my inspiration, You Are Amazing card, came from the You Are Amazing project kit. So you can kind of see what I did here. I used the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And then this one kind of resembles those dies. In the project kit, it's the linen thread is kind of wrapped around the Mango Melody banner, but we added our little bow right here to the front. So that was my inspiration to make this one. All right, so then the last thing is our little box. So hold on, my cat wants to go out. There you go, bye Fuzzy. She's gonna go get her little snack. She's a snacker. All right, so we're gonna make this one here, fun little box. And you can kind of see there's a little box in the middle here, and then we're gonna use that designer series paper to make this little kind of connection to make a little box. So we've got some pieces here, grab them. Again, we're gonna make that little medium daisy. I've chosen Pool Party. And I think I just lost the center of that. No, it's still in the envelope. Okay, so let's get this little daisy together, just because I don't want to lose any of those little pieces. So let's grab the silicone craft sheet. And then I've got a Pool Party and a Pool Party. And then here's the center. So let's add a little dot of that liquid glue on the center, and then we're going to add this one right to the gaps, and then move it until you get those gaps filled in, just like this. And then we'll add another little dot of liquid glue to the middle, and then we're going to add that 1/2 inch circle punch to the center of that daisy. So it kind of looks like this. We'll add Wink of Stella on it last, but this, well, we want that to dry. We can actually add this to the 2-inch circle punch. This is Granny Apple Green. We're going to want to add a dimensional to the back side so it's lifted up off that circle. And then let's just add it right in the middle of that circle and call it good. Okay. And now we're going to make the box. So this is a piece of cardstock, and I don't have the dimensions down. So we're going to measure on camera here, 3.5 by 4 3/4. Now I need to score this, and I hope I remember the scores. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer here. I know that this side here is 3/4 of an inch. So on the top, the short side is at the top, and then I'm using the right side of the trimmer for measurement, and then we're going to flip it over and we're going to do 3/4 of an inch again. Then we're going to rotate it so the longer side is at the top. We're going to score at 2 inches and 2 3/4. Okay, so again, those measurements are 3/4 of an inch on this side. Okay, then you rotate it 3/4 of an inch, and then the long side at the top is at 2 inches, then 2 3/4. So we're done with the trimmer and the score. And now what we need to do is we need to take your bone folder. I like to kind of burnish the lines first, and then we'll cut. So I'm just gonna fold those up like this, and then we'll open them back up and fold them in the other direction. Okay, so now we've got something that looks like this. You're gonna need to take your paper snips, and we're gonna just snip right up to that score line. We're gonna create some tabs, and we'll do the same thing on this side. Okay, and now what you want to do is you want to put these in like this, and then we're going to kind of bring this up and bring this up. Okay, so we're going to add some glue to this side here, this tab, and then this tab down here. I'm going to fold the left side up, and then this one is going to come up over here, and then you're going to pinch it. And then I'm just going to kind of run my thumb along that side, and then this side too. You can take your bone folder and go in on the inside here as well. Okay, so that little box is all set, ready to go. We'll set this aside, and now we're going to focus on this piece here. So this flower and fields is 2 inches across by 8 3/4 of an inch long. And now I'm going to bring in the delightful tag topper. Again, this is new in my craft room. I think I purchased it and it got here in January. I used to use the scallop tag topper, which I still do, but I'm using this punch as well. So I slid this 2-inch piece into the punch all the way till it can't go any further, and then I'm just going to press it down, and it creates a really pretty scalloped topper. Okay, and you've got pieces here that you just punch, and we'll just throw those in the recycle bin. I did not, you know what I didn't do is I did not score this. I totally forgot. So let me see if I can figure this out. So I'm going to just cheat a little bit. I'm going to match this up with this sample and see if I can get it. So right about there. Okay. And then about 1/2 inch. Just like that. I'm just kind of working on the fly, you guys. All right, so make sure that those look, yep, okay, I got it. So let me just tell you what those are. Get my ruler out. So you're gonna score at 4 inch, it looks like 4 inches and Actually, hold on. 3 7/8 and 4 3/4. Okay, so it's going to kind of create the base of our little holder here. So now we're going to open this up, and then this box here is going to get added to the center. To do that, you're going to want to add some glue on the bottom of the box, and then it's going to get lined up in those between those two score lines, and then you're just going to want to hold it in place just to give it enough time to stick. I'm just using the bone folder just to give it some good pressure. Now, this is the time you're going to want to fill this box with whatever goodies you want. Now, I can tell you that one of our, these are C block. Your C block will fit perfectly in this little box, okay? And so you could give a gift of a block, a C block, right? We're all paper crafters. Everybody can actually use another block in their craft room, so that will fit perfectly. All right, so pretend we've got a block in there. Actually, I'll just do it because it'll help out and hold everything in place. So I've got the little block in there. The next thing you're going to want to do is I use sheer ribbon. This is Pool Party. Again, it's the color that's in that paper. Probably need about, I don't know, 6, 7 inches of it. Just cut it off, and we're going to match up the ends. And then we're going to thread it through the hole at the top of the Designer Series paper there from that punch. And then we're going to thread it through the back hole. Okay. And now we're going to grab these two ends, and then we're going to put these two tails through, and then you're going to pull. And you're going to pull really carefully because Designer Series paper is a lot thinner than your regular cardstock. Okay, so we're not going to cut these down yet. Let me show you the example here. You can see where I added some linen thread here because every single project we've used or made tonight uses linen thread. So we're just going to continue on with the trend of the linen thread. I've got a piece that's probably about 8 inches. It's way too much, but for the sake of tying this, it'll be easier for me. So I just tied the knot there, and then the bow. And then if you want to just cinch it down a little bit to make it not so crazy, you can do that. And I'm going to trim the tails too of the linen thread. Okay, and then I'm going to pull these two up and angle cut. So now that's what that looks like. I have no idea if you can see it or not. Okay, and then we're going to add this nice little embellishment for the front. It's again a 2-inch circle punch with Granny Apple Green, and I used the medium daisy punch with Pool Party, and I punched 2 of them out and matched them up with a glue dot. And then in the center here is the 1/2-inch circle punch. It is retired, but I still use it, and I added that as well with a glue dot. I popped it up with a dimensional. You can see it's in between there. And then here we're just going to actually add 3 dimensionals to the back side of the circle just to give it some more dimension. So we've got 3 here, and I just kind of put them at a triangle. And then we'll add this right to the front. Okay. Then we're going to stamp congrats. I find my congrats stamp. Oh. All right, I took it off that block, you guys, so hold on just a second. Okay, this is like overkill. It's a D block, but Need to add it on here. It's got ink on it, so I need to get my scrub out and just clean it just really quickly. Again, we're going to use Granny Apple Green, so let me find that. These are all the colors we used tonight. Shaded Spruce, So Saffron, Night of Navy, Granny Apple Green, and I got Cherry Cobbler off to the side too. Let's open this up. Now, I'm going to try to stamp this. Now, this is really small, and I probably may not get it, so I might have to try to stamp this again. So we're going to give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, well, then we'll use that classic label punch. Okay, let's see if I got it. All right, that's not too bad. I'm going to go with that. I can't believe I just stamped that on there. And it's not crooked or anything. Okay, so now we're going to take this Congrats and we're going to add it to the front of the daisy here. You could give it some lift and add a medium dimensional underneath it if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue right to the center there, just a dot. You don't need anything more than that. And then we're going to add it so it's centered. It's centered over across the 2-inch circle punch, and it's also centered on that 1/2-inch So Saffron punched shape. Okay, so that is going to dry just for a second. While it's drying, we can add the opal rounds. So here is the example where I had the opal rounds and I added them to the front here, just 2 of them. So let's do that while that is drying. I'm going to use the Take Your Pick tool again, and I'm just going to slide my finger underneath here just to give it some support. I'm going to add the opal round right to the center of that daisy. There's only a couple daisies on this one, so we'll have to just use 2. I'm going to add one right at the top there. You know, we could actually add a small one down here, so let's do that as well. 3's better than 2. Okay. So now we'll add some Wink of Stella to this. If you missed this trick, if you're just coming on now, I'm going to show you a little bit of fun with your Wink of Stella. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to add it to that So Saffron, and then we're going to brush stroke over the Pool Party petals. Just light brush strokes, that's all you need to do. And the reason why I didn't do add the Wink of Stella beforehand is because it's this banner, the Congrats, is covering up, and we don't need to add it to something that's not even going to be shown. So we'll save our Wink of Stella. Again, I'm going to brush stroke all the way through. And now we're going to splatter some of the Wink of Stella onto our 3D box here. To do that, you just hold, I'm right-handed, so I'm holding the Wink of Stella in my left hand, and I'm taking the Take Your Pick tool. I'm just going to lightly tap it all the way around here. And what it's happening is when I hit this, the Wink of Stella, it's splattering the Wink of Stella throughout. Okay, and I will show you that in the camera, but I'm probably sure you can't see it, but you trust me. You can kind of, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little splatter of Wink of Stella all over this designer series paper and the Granny Apple Green circle. Okay, so just a little added trick, kind of a new technique that I've been doing. And in the Pool Party sheer ribbon, it's kind of like sparkly too, so kind of everything goes together with this little box. So that's that one. Here's one, was just the same thing, but I did not add any Wink of Stella on the left one here, so I don't know if you can tell the difference or not. But just adding this sparkle really adds a lot to this one. So I'm going to go back and finish this one off camera and add the Wink of Stella too. So we're going to do a little recap. Whew, that is everything for tonight. So I started around 7:30 and it's 9 o'clock US time in Vermont. So I am going to lay everything out and then I want to check some comments to see if you guys have any comments out there or questions before I sign off for tonight. So my inspiration again was the You Are Amazing card kit, project kit. So let's kind of stack these all up. I'm not sure if it's all going to fit on my work surface here, but we're going to give it a try. So let me just kind of pick up my area here and try to make some more room. When you're filming, you don't have a large area to work with. You just have like a really super small area and try to keep it all together. All right, so here's this one. And then the happy birthday. There's no way these are all going to fit on here. So that was that inspiration. This was the free card. So we did this one here ahead of time, or I did. And then we did this one on camera where we just added, we did the reverse side. So those look super cute. I really like this one. Okay, so it's that one. Let's see, the Hip Hip Hooray. 3 cheers for you. This is the project kit. Here's the one we made together with the gold foil, kind of very similar products, but just a different design or just different paper. Here's another one. Okay, and then we've got the thanks. So here's 2. And then our project kit had the one here on the left. Very similar, but different, of course. And here's the happy birthday I made. Let's get this one here, here. The You Are Amazing, and we've got thanks. We've got another box. And then what else do I want to recap? So make sure if you're going to place any orders tonight, I really appreciate your business. And if you're in the US and you're not already working with a current Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to earn your business. This helps me, your orders help me just keep motivated and inspiring. So February 28th, tomorrow is the last day to receive Resin Hearts Embellishments using this host code. When your order is 35 to 149.99, use that code. If you have an order over that, then don't use the code so that you receive Stampin' rewards. My website is inspiredbygram.com, after my grandmother. And then what else do I have to say? Oh, so let's see. I know some of you on here, saw a couple of you are on my Inspired Daisies team. So here's my Inspired Daisies team. We are daisy stamping all over the United States, a lot on the East Coast, but we've got a Patty down in Texas, and we've got Christine in Oregon, Deborah in Washington, and this is my Sent with Love welcome card to all my Inspired Daisies. 8 of you guys signed up during celebration, and it's the best time to join my team of Inspired Daisies. So if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email at inspiredbygram@gmail.com, or you can just click over to my website and visit me there as well. So don't forget to sign up for my newsletter. And you can do that by going to my website and fill out that little pop-up that shows up after like 2 or 3 seconds. That way you won't miss out on any of my card classes or my club. So this kit was just is going out on Monday, and then my club was just mailed out yesterday. So if you have any questions, give me a shout. And let me just check the comments just to see if we've got any comments that I might have missed. Let's see. Quite a few guys on tonight. Let's see, just scrolling down. I'll go through these. I'll go and check to see if there's any other questions. Doesn't look like it. But anyway, how's the maple syrup coming? Oh, my husband tapped today and we might have some sap tomorrow, but it's going to take a couple sap runs to make some syrup. So I'll let you know, Lee, that's for sure. All right, I think we're all good. So yes, we did make 5 cards and the 3D box in 90 minutes. That is correct. I had everything pre-cut and die cut and punched, but yes, we did all of this in 90 minutes. All right, I'm gonna sign off for you guys. You have a great rest of your weekend. And hopefully I'll be able to figure out how to shut down a live video because I've been struggling with that lately. So we'll try to figure it out and I think